Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day. Today's book is Froggy Goes to the Library, and this is by Jonathan London, illustrated by Frank Remkowitz. It was Saturday morning, and Froggy stayed in bed to read his favorite book. It was about Super Frog. Froggy, called his mom. What? It's time to get up, dear. We're going to the library. Yippee, cried Froggy, and he hopped out of bed and flopped into the kitchen. Flop, flop, flop. Let's go, said Froggy, and he started flopping out the door. Flop, flop, flop. First, said Mom, you have to get dressed. I know that, said Froggy. And he flopped back to his room and got dressed. Zip, zoop, zoot, 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 zat. Then he flopped back, flop, 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 and said, let's go. I want to get books about Super Frog and T-Rex. But first, eat your breakfast, dear. Yum, said Froggy. Home flies and ketchup. Munch, crunch, munch. Then Froggy raced out the door. Froggy, called Mom. What? Don't forget your book bag, dear, so you can carry home lots of books. Froggy, called Mom. What? Don't forget your book bag, dear, so you can carry home lots of books. I better take the wheelbarrow, cried Froggy. I'm getting tons of books. And off to the library they went, squeak, squeak, squeak. In no time at all, Froggy had stacks of books so high that he couldn't see over the top. So he tripped over Polly, oops, and fell smack on his face, splat, and spilled all his books. And that's when he saw Froggelina. Hi, Froggy. Hee hee. Want some help picking up your books? I can do it myself, shouted Froggy. Please use your indoor voice, dear, said the librarian, Miss Otterbottom. First, Froggy read a book about Super Frog. He wasn't very good at reading, but he was very good at looking at the pictures. Zoot, zoot. When he got to the part about Super Frog flying high and fast after the bad guys, he stood on the table, spread his arms like wings. Like wings. Please sit down, dear, said Miss Otterbottom. It's not polite to stand on the table. Please sit down. Oops, said Froggy. Please sit down. Then he picked out lots of books about dinosaurs, especially his favorite, the T-Rex. Roar, cried Froggy, holding his hands up like claws. Roar, roar. Froggy, called Miss Otterbottom. What? This is a library, dear, not dinosaur park. Oops, said Froggy. Sorry. Then Miss Otterbottom announced, story time. Come gather around, children. Me, cried Polly Wogliner. Story time for babies. Story time is for babies, said Froggy. But little by little, the book that Mrs. Otterbottom was reading got all his attention. What a great story, thought Froggy, and he wanted to know what happened next, so he scooted closer and closer. And when he started doing rhymes and songs, he got so excited that he leapfrogged over Froggelina, he leapfrogged over his mother, and he leapfrogged over Polly, right smack beside Miss Otterbottom, and started wiggling. Wiggle, 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 waggle, wiggle, wiggle, waggle, wiggle, waggle, waggle, wiggle, wiggle. And the kids all laughed like crazy, and Froggy kept singing and dancing. Until suddenly it grew quiet, so quiet you could hear a fly burp. Froggy took one look at Miss Otterbottom and, uh-oh, he knew he was in trouble. Oops, cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Miss Otterbottom stared hard at him. Then smiled and joined in, so did everybody else. Wiggle, 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 waggle, wiggle, wiggle, waggle, wiggle, until story time was over. Thanks for being so energetic, Froggy, said Miss Otterbottom, and she handed him the book she had been reading aloud and said, I'm glad to know that Froggy loves books. Come again soon. Thanks, cried Froggy. Books are the best. And he put it on top of his pile and checked out. Then rolled his wheelbarrow full of books with Polly on top, singing, wiggle, 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 waggle, wiggle, 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 waggle, wiggle, wiggle, waggle, wiggle. All the way home. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The end, boys and girls, of Froggy Goes to the Library. Check it out. I got my Froggy shirt here. Read for the win. Read for the wind. With Froggy. See it? Both Froggies. Boys and girls, I chose this book because I think I said to you in my other book, this is going to be 2 of 10. My library finally opened after 3 months. It's just for pickup and drop off. You can't go inside, but I am absolutely thrilled and excited. It is what I have been waiting for, me and this guy, this whole time. We've been waiting for the library to open because as much as I like borrowing books from friends and buying books and using the books that I have, I like going to the library. It is so much fun. You can learn so many things at the library and do so many wonderful things. So if you get a chance and your library's open, go out there and check it out. And also, check it out. Library parking only. All violators will be silenced. Shh. Gotta be quiet in the library. People are reading. It's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D. Better Off Reading Every Day. And it has been my pleasure to share this book with you. Boys and girls, get to your library as soon as you can. Put some books in here as well as in here, because that's what it's all about.